Welcome to New Jersey Motorsports Park for the finale of the weekend for the Formula Regional Americas Championship. My name's John Phippen. Glad to have you with me. Alongside me is Drew Such, who will be co-commentating for today's race, as we've had two pretty exciting races so far this weekend for the Formula Regional Americas Championship. Looking forward to a good one for the final race of the weekend. We've got 9 starters on the field. We're going to do 2 formation laps before they line up for the standing start. So let's introduce the starting grid for you. On the outside of row number 5 the only car in row number 5 is car number 6, Nicole Laverda. Nicole's had kind of a tough weekend as she's had a couple non-finishes because of car issues of one sort or another. Nicole out of Comox, British Columbia, Canada for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsports. She finished 12th in the championship a year ago. Moving forward into row 4 on the outside, the gentleman who co-commentated with us earlier today, the number 77 of James Lawley. James out of Halifax, Nova Scotia. He races for the Atlantic Racing Team. Cartbahn Racing sponsoring him. Next to him in row 4 is car number 25, Rico Slauman. Rico out of Los Angeles, California. He's the oldest driver in our field, 22 years old for Crosslink Kiwi. He raced with us briefly in the F4 Championship all the way back in 2018. Then took some time off to pursue other interests and is back in the saddle in the FR car this year, and we're glad to have him. In row 3 on the outside is car number 73. That's Landon Matriano Lim, another 22-year-old. He's out of Shreveport, Louisiana for the powerhouse Crosslink Kiwi Motorsports team. He's sponsored by 739 Racing. Next to him is car number 02. That is Jet Bowling, also from Crosslink Kiwi. Jet, a 19-year-old out of Dallas, Texas. He finished 30th in the F4 Championship a year ago. Next, on the outside of row 2, is the number 22 of Hayden Bowlesby. Hayden, our most experienced driver in that number 22 machine. He's a 20-year-old from Folsom, Louisiana. He raced with us for 3 years in the F4 Championship back in 2019, 20, and 21. And now in his third year of competition in the F4, or the FR Championship, He's sponsored by Save 22. We'll talk about that as the race wears on. Next to him is the man who's got a win already this weekend. A win and a second-place finish for Titus Sherlock in the number 31 car. Titus makes his home in Prosper, Texas. He's a 19-year-old for the Crosslink Kiwi team. He was the vice champion of the F4 Championship a year ago. This is his third year of competition with us, 2 years in F4, and now in the FR Championship. He's third in the points title, despite missing the round at Mid-Ohio after a kind of a scary practice crash when he had a brake failure. So he had to miss those 2 races, but he has come back strong here at New Jersey with a win and a second-place finish. Next to him is the man who's taken over the points lead, car number 27, Patrick Woods-Toth from Saint-Lazare, Quebec, Canada. He's a Quebecois, of course, for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsport. He is the reigning F4 U.S. champion, and he came to us through the Radford Racing Carts to Cars Scholarship and turned that into a championship in the first time of asking, with 4 wins and 10 podium finishes in his first year of competition in the F4 series. He's had a good year this year, 5 wins and 5 podiums, and he has 11 points-paying finishes out of the 13 rounds we've contested so far. And your pole sitter now is the man who has won the most recent round, and that is Nico Ambiato. Nico in the 55 car out of Santiago, Chile. He's a 16-year-old for the Velox USA Speed Factory team. He's sponsored by T-Link and Allegro, and he took his first win of the season in the most recent round. Contested here earlier today as the drivers have completed their 2 formation laps. And they'll now roll into position here on the front straightaway for the Formula One style standing start. Once again, Drew Such, my co-commentator here this race. Drew, you had kind of an eventful F4 weekend. Looking forward to more of the same for the final race of the season coming up at COTA in about 2 months' time.
That's right. It's been a fun one. We've had a couple technical difficulties, but we've managed to still get some good finishes anyway. And, definitely looking forward to COTA. Great to be up in the booth with you, John.
You're great. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here. So let's keep an eye on the lineup here as everybody is in position and waiting for the lights to begin their sequence. You can hear the revs come up on the engines. They're right on the rev limiter, getting ready to dump the clutch. Everybody away cleanly, and a good start for Patrick Woods-Toth from the outside of row number 1. as he heads down into the first turn. And Woods-Toth is going to lead it, it looks like. Nico Ambiato, a little bump and run with Titus Sherlock. And also going off there was Hayden Bowlesby. Titus off into the grass at the outside of turn 1. I hope he'll be able to continue. But Patrick Woods-Toth getting the jump. Starts have been a bit of a bugbear for him, even though he is the points leader. He admits to me that the starts have not really been his forte, and boy, he got a good one this time as he is off into the lead. Up into a second spot, I believe that is Jet Bowling, his teammate, in the second spot. Sounds like we are going to have to bring out the safety car. Man, this is only the third safety car of the weekend, as we've had some great green flag racing, but it looks like Titus's car not going to be able to continue on its own, as there was a little contact, it looked to me, between he and Nico Ambiato's cars. They bumped, and apparently that may have broken the suspension on Titus's car, and he's not going to be able to continue. He's climbing out. That's a tough break for him.
Yeah, John, that was a really difficult situation for Titus there. He had a great launch and just got stuck in the middle of 2 cars going into 1.
Yep.
And in that position, there's really nothing you can do other than hold your line and hope the other guys get
and
in
hope
space.
they don't run into you. Yeah, exactly right.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, he got sandwiched in between those two. As you can see, the safety workers chatting to him to make sure that he's okay. The safety crew here at New Jersey Motorsports Park has done a fantastic job all weekend. We've got lots of racing here, not only our 3 series, of course, the JSF4 Championship, the F4 US Championship, and the Formula Regional Americas, but we've got FRP here with both their F1600, the Atlantics, the F2000s. SVRA has got 3 classes of racing going on. So plenty of racing action here this weekend, and these recovery crews have been busy, not so much with us, but with some of the other racing here. So they have done a fantastic job all weekend long as the safety car has picked up the field. Patrick Woods-Toth, your leader. Nico Ambiato in second. Jet Bowling in third. Landon Matriano-Lim in fourth. Good start for Landon. He started back outside of row number 3. Nicole Averda up into 5th spot. Again, Nicole's had an eventful weekend. Looking for her to get that finish that she deserves, as it's been not of her making. She's had 3 podiums already this year, so perhaps she can break through and get another trip to the podium here before this day is over. James Lawley in the 77 for the Atlantic Racing Team. Then Hayden Bowlesby in the IGY6 number 22. Rico Slauman we talked about, and Titus unfortunately out of the race. So only 8 cars now remaining. And just as we saw it, yeah, you can see broken right front suspension on that car, as those 2 wheels are not pointing in the same direction. That's a recipe for disaster. You don't go very far when the wheels point in different directions. I don't know if we'll be able to get the start this time by. The safety car is in turn 7. So far, race control, we're on the radio with race control. We haven't heard anything, so I have a feeling we're going to go around one more time other than just this one, because this is about the time where the safety car would click the lights out.
Both Landon Matriano-Lim and Nicole Havarda had really good starts there. Looks like Nicole started in 9th, and she's already up to 5th.
Yeah, exactly. And Landon, like I said, back outside of row 3. Looks we are going to get the restart. All right, great to see, as the field very sedately coming through turns 11, A and B. That leads into the final turn on the racetrack, which is turn 12, just under the bridge. And that's where they are right now. These are a single file restarts when we have a restart after a safety car. And the leader can accelerate as soon as he hits the bridge, and that is exactly what's happened. And Patrick Woods-Toth takes off with Nico Ambiato right in his wheel tracks. A little lockup from the 0-2 of Jet Bowling, but he's able to get through okay. Right behind him, Landon Matriano-Lim. There's Nicole Haverda just behind, with James Lawley in the 77 for the Atlantic Racing Team. Just behind her, as the field pretty much single file working its way into and out of the chicane. That little right-hand kink at turn 4, and then a little bit of a heavier braking zone into turn 5. Not a place where we see a lot of passing, but we saw Patrick Woods-Toth attempt to pass there in the race earlier today. Wasn't quite able to close the deal, as we got some side-by-side racing there between Hayden Bowlesby and Lawley as they go side-by-side for 6th and 7th. But they're still side-by-side, giving each other racing room, which is exactly what we want to see. Still side-by-side. And it looks like Hayden Bowlesby is going to get the job done and move up into 6th spot at the expense of James Lawley. But I think that battle may not be over just yet, as we'll keep an eye on it as the race wears on. You know, we've talked a lot about tires this weekend. This is a brand new racing surface, and it's been a bit of a challenge for some of the teams to get the tire pressures just right. And a little lockup for Patrick Woods-Toth coming into turn number 1. And this final race of the weekend is always the one that sort of tells the tale, because everybody's then on kind of common ground. You can make all kinds of decisions about where you're going to put your new tires on, when are you going to work on scrubs, and by the time you get to the third race, everybody's played their cards, and it's a little more of a level playing field for that last race.
Absolutely. I mean, this weekend's had a huge focus on tire management, not only of wear but of temperature throughout the race.
Yep.
Particularly in these later afternoon races, once the track's gotten really hot, really greasy.
Right.
It's been a battle to try to manage your tires and get them all the way to the end without having huge fall off at the end of the race.
Yeah, here in New Jersey late in July, I mean, it's one of our hottest race weekends as far as ambient temperature. So the tires are really our challenge. The tires and the cooling on these cars really are challenged, especially these FR cars. Being turbocharged, the under cowling temperatures can get high in a hurry. And the teams have to manage the temperatures of the power plants as well as the temperatures of the tires. As Nico Ambiato getting a wheel up in the air after just taking maybe a little bit too much curb. But Nico looking very racing here, right on the back of our points leader, Patrick Woods-Toth. We talked a little bit about Patrick's teammate Ryan Shehan, who came into this weekend with the points lead, but as is the case for any race driver at this ladder level, it's all about funding and making sure you've got the money to complete the season. And unfortunately, Ryan had some challenges in his funding campaign to get the car here for this weekend, and so he's had to sit this one out. We're fingers crossed that he'll be able to join us again at our next round at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park in about a month's time. But Ryan is just like everybody else. If your dad is not Lawrence Stroll, you have to find funding for your racing efforts. And Drew, I know you have to deal with that just like everybody else. You've got a single car team, which even makes it worse. Ryan, of course, driving for one of the big monster teams like Crosslink Kiwi. That doesn't make it any less expensive, but a single car team, you've really got to handle all of those issues.
Absolutely. It's been, I won't lie, it's been a challenge to get the team up and running and get it running well at the same time. But I think we're progressing upwards all the time, which is great, and really looking forward to COTA. I think we'll be able to make it. So
wouldn't have it any other way. So glad to see you as we concentrate on this lead battle, because it is one of the best ones on the racetrack. The only other battle that's even that close is Nicola Verda and James Lawley back for 6th and 7th. But let's keep it right here as Woods-Toth has not won a race since Indianapolis, the last round at Indy. He had 2 wins at Indy, winning the first and third races at Indy. He's had a pair of podium finishes at Mid-Ohio. He's had a pair of podium finishes here, but it's been a while since he's won a race. But I think he took over the points lead after the second race of the weekend here, and I think he's feeling maybe a bit energized. Also said they made a conscious tire choice to preserve a new set of tires for this final race, and I think that's bearing good fruit. But Nico Ambiato has been fast all weekend long. He dominated that second race, got out, was in the lead by almost 10 seconds at one point, which is unheard of. The R classes normally pride themselves for very close racing, and Nico had a big dominant win in that second race, and now he's keeping plenty of pressure on Woods-Toth, no question. But Patrick saving the best for last here, with about 15 and a half minutes still remaining, as we're just approaching the halfway point of this one. It'll be curious to see how the handling of these cars and how their lap times are going to evolve as we get into the second half of this final race of the weekend.
Exactly, John. Saving a set of sticker tires for the final race is a really bold strategy.
Yep.
But we've seen it happen even this weekend already with the JSF4 series.
Yeah.
We had a couple drivers out there on sticker tires, and they certainly had the pace by the end of the race.
Yeah, no question about it. As we have a look at that lead battle, we just saw a brief look at the battle between Landon Matriano Lim and Hayden Bowlesby. That's for 4th and 5th. But we go back to the attention of the battle for the top spot. Nico Ambiato's had a great weekend. He's got a win and a second place. He had a second place at Mid-Ohio as well, so he's been on 3 consecutive podiums and has brought himself back into the discussion for the points title. He's only 4.5 points behind Titus Sherlock, and he is certainly, if he stays where he is, going to take over that third spot in the points battle before this one is all over. So Ambiato having a great run. Here we go back to that battle that we were talking about a moment ago for 4th and 5th. That's Landon Montriano-Lim in the 73 with Hayden Bowlesby just in front of him. But here we go with a challenge for the lead. Nico Ambiato down to the inside of Woods-Toth in the approach to turn 1. Patrick held his racing line and was able to maintain the position. But Nico is showing him a nose, letting him know. Patrick is I don't know how well you know Patrick. He's a pretty cool character. He doesn't get too rattled. He's had his ups and downs this season. He had a couple pretty significant offs at Road America and a very high-speed part of that very daunting racetrack. But he bounced back and has stayed right in the thick of the championship battle, looking to make it 2 in a row as he won the F4 championship on the first time of asking last year. And he would join a long parade of our drivers who have won both championships in successive years, looking to try to do that again. It looks like Nico's car getting a little wide there at turn 8. It makes me wonder if his tire's going away just a little bit.
Yeah, Patrick's always been a very level-headed driver, and that's really what helped him win the F4 U.S. Championship last year.
Yeah.
He consistently can finish up front.
Yeah, well, and the thing that is impressive about him is you look at his record in the F4 Championship. He only won 4 races,
right.
but he had 10 other podiums. So he was on the podium 15 times, which is just about every race, and that was what got him the championship. He's the kind of driver that if he's got a second place car, he'll finish in second. He's not a wreckers or checkers kind of guy, and that kind of consistency is the hallmark of a successful racing driver. That's no question about it.
And he's held up very well so far from Ambiato's pressure in the first half of this race, and looks like he finally has a little bit of breathing room, so be interested to see what happens now.
Exactly, but Nico also has the ability to collect himself and get right back in the thick of it, so let's see how that goes. As we can see, Hayden Bowlesby has made that pass on Landon Montriano-Lim to move up into 4th position as we follow that battle right now. Landon, another of the drivers from the Crosslink Kiwi stable. Hayden, as we mentioned, as far as this class, is a single car team, but he also has 2 cars in the JSF4 championship as well. His dad is a military veteran. In fact, the entire team run by veterans, and I can remember them very much like your team, and I'm not casting aspersions by any stretch of the imagination, but Clark and Hayden used to show up with an open trailer and their one car back in the early days when he started back in 2019, and they did it on a shoestring because they love doing it, and they built it now into a multi-car team, and their sponsor is something that's near and dear to my heart. I'm a military veteran, and they raise awareness. It's called Save 22. They raise awareness of the uncomfortable fact that we lose 22 veterans and first responders a day to suicide in this country, and they're very active in raising the awareness of that, and it's certainly a very worthy cause, and we thank Clark and Hayden Bowlesby for spearheading that effort.
Absolutely, and the IGY6 team has really grown a lot in these last couple of years, and it's been pretty impressive to see.
Yep, exactly right.
So happy to see an organization like that doing well.
Well, and that's a model for your team. I mean, obviously you guys are a single car team. Next year, maybe you can find another driver or 2, and that's how these teams grow. Everybody has to start out somewhere. Nicole Laverta having a great battle with James Lawley. As we talked about Nicole, after starting at the back of the field up into 6th now, Lawley challenging her about a third of a second back as we're working race lap number 10. We've got about 11 minutes left in this one, so still plenty of racing. And again, Nicole, a great driver. She's been on the podium 3 times this season, has had kind of a star-crossed weekend here, a little lockup there from Lawley, it looked like, as they were working their way out of turn number 9. That's a real quick transition from the exit of 9 to that sweeping left-hander at turn number 10. And it's easy to overcook the brakes just a little bit as we go back to the front. And just as we suspected, Nico Ambiato has made up the ground that he lost with that little tiny miscue. And now he's right back on the gearbox of Woods-Toth.
Ambiato's all over the back of Woods-Toth. It looked like he was always bound to catch back up.
Yeah, exactly right.
Especially with those sticker tires.
Yep.
And he might have the opportunity to make a move here pretty soon.
Yep. Nico with a win and 4 podiums so far this season, and looking to add to that total here today, as he's had a good weekend with a win and a second place finish so far. As we follow this battle, that decreasing radius 7, 8, and 9, you can see on the camera the car just slows down. It looks like they almost put the brakes on. It's just that corner gets tighter and tighter and tighter as you get into the end of it, and then you have to quickly release and go back to the other way. As you can see, Nico using up all the curbing to try to get a good run here under the bridge, and that's really the start of the run down to the front straightaway. Patrick having to go defensive as he guards the inside line, going to force Nico to try to go around the outside, and that's going to hurt Patrick's exit speed. Can he hold it? And he does. So Patrick, again, being defensive without blocking. That's basically the story. Our race director, Scott Goodyear, preaches that. You know, the mirrors are on the car to see what your situational awareness is. They are not there for you to set up a block for the guys following you.
Patrick did a good defensive job there in turn 1, managing to park it on the apex and not allow Nico to get to the inside of him going into 2.
Yep.
So that's a very smart move.
Yeah, it's good racecraft, and he wasn't moving under braking, doing all the things that are no-nos. And the stewards like that. I mean, you certainly can put the car anywhere on the racetrack you want, but once you make that decision and get into the braking zone, you got to stick with it. You can't start drifting over and trying to force somebody off the racetrack. As we turn our attention back to this lead battle, and it is a good one. And I think we've not seen the last of a challenge from Nico Ambiato, the Chilean for Velox USA Speed Factory. Great to see the success that he has made. Again, another single car team, although they do have a working arrangement with the Speed Factory team.
Here goes Ambiato.
Yep, there he goes around the outside once again. Patrick guarding the inside. Let's see if Ambiato can do the over-under here, because that is going to sacrifice the exit speed for Patrick, but he does a good job. And Ambiato not quite close enough. Again, we've got 8 minutes to go. If that happens on the final lap, it might have a little different outcome, as Ambiato might be willing to put a little more pressure on. But at this point, he's going to live to fight another day for sure.
Again, Patrick holds the apex there, forcing Ambiato to check up. And if he keeps that up, he should be still in it by the end of this race.
Nicola Verda with a nice battle with Rico Slauman. She has lost a position. She was in front of James Lawley. Nicole back to 7th now, and Rico Slauman, the last car, still running right on his back bumper. I love the livery of Rico's car. That Gulf sort of tribute livery has always been one of my favorites, being an old guy, back when cars were raced under that livery for a number of years back in the sports car days.
Yeah, I'm not sure what year it was, but that was a livery that Williams ran not too long ago.
Yep, yeah, exactly right. Another tribute livery. But John Wyer, of course, in Le Mans with the dominant Porsche 917s, ran with that livery for a number of years. Watch the movie Le Mans sometime, the Steve McQueen version, and you'll see that livery on some of the cars in the filming of that one. This time, Patrick had a little better run through the exit of turn 10 and onto the front straightaway, and is able to open up just a little bit of a gap, but Nico could close on him pretty much at will. So that tells me, and again, I'm not a driver, so I won't profess to know the ins and outs of what goes on, but my experience has been if a driver could stay this close for this long, they're probably faster, but you've got to be faster enough to be able to close the deal. And especially with these FR cars that generate so much downforce, the air coming off the leading car really compromises the aero on the following car. So you've got to be very strategic about your passing maneuvers. This battle between Rico Slauman and Nicola Verda continues. Rico going to try to go around the outside as they approach turn 5. But back at the front, there's Ambiato once again, right on the tail of Patrick Woods-Toth, as we're down to about 6 minutes remaining.
He looks quite a bit closer this time. He might be able to make a move into 1 again.
Yeah, let's see how that shakes out as they come under the bridge and onto the front straightaway. You can usually tell if Patrick's feeling the pressure because he immediately goes to the inside. And now Ambiato shows him the dummy, thinking, yes, I'm going to go to the inside. No, I'm going to take the outside.
And this time he'll hold it.
Yes, but
oh no,
not quite. It's a little dodgy out there, as the exit of turn 1 and into turn 2 is blind, and it's really easy to find yourself running out of racetrack at the end, as we've had drivers in other classes throughout the course of the weekend get that all wrong. In fact, Patrick had an incident, a pretty significant incident during qualifying, and he gave credit to his crew in qualifying before the first race of the weekend. He had an off right at that very point and got into the tire barrier and pranged to the front end of the car pretty significantly. And the whole Crosslink Kiwi stable got to work because they only had a couple hours to get the car back together. And he was able to make it to the race and had pretty good success, finishing third in that first race of the weekend. So Patrick certainly knows what not to do at the exit of turn number 1, and I'm sure Nico trying his best to not make that mistake as well. This time Patrick's got a little more breathing room. Go ahead, Drew. Sorry.
That was a very impressive turnaround from Crosslink Kiwi after qualifying.
Yeah.
Glad to see him out there. Yeah,
when I saw them lift that car up in the front, the whole left front corner was dangling in the breeze. I thought, man, there's no way they're going to make the race, and they got it done. I mean, they've got a lot of resources. Let's face it, they've got a million cars here this weekend. But Gary and Tina, I've known since they've been with us since the beginning, basically, and they're fixtures in the paddock, and they've earned the success that they've gotten, no question about it. But it's great to see all of those teammates and the mechanics and the crew, pull together to get one of their wounded cars into the race. Coming down under 4 minutes now, so just a handful of laps left as this battle between Nicole Averda and Rico Slauman continues. Nicole doing a good job of keeping Rico behind her, as she is currently in 7th position. Like I say, it's not been a great weekend for her. She had a 7th place finish in round number 2, but did not score points in the first round as she wasn't able to get to the finish. As we go back to the lead battle, and Nico right there, but maybe not close enough this time. Let's see how it looks as they both use up some curb there at 11B under the bridge and onto the front straightaway. This time Patrick's comfortable enough to stay on the regular racing line, so he doesn't have to feel the need to go defensive just yet.
Patrick has been really strong this race. He's been under pressure for pretty much the entire 27 minutes so far.
Yep.
And has not cracked once.
Yeah. Of course, we call it the commentator's curse. Having said that, we'll watch him make a mistake. But like I say, Patrick's a pretty cool character. If anyone can withstand the pressure, he's the guy. So we'll see. But Nico might be running out of tire just a little bit here. I'm just wondering if Patrick did take the gamble to start on stickers for this race, stickers or barely scrubbed, a virtually new set of tires. There goes Rico Slauman down to the inside of Nicole. She's going to try to hang strong to the outside, but she has to give it up. And Rico Slauman takes over that 7th spot. Nicole Averda drops back to 8th, but that battle may not be over yet. We'll see if Nicole can fight back. As Rico also driving for the Crosslink Kiwi stable, has all the resources of that team at his disposal, but so does Nicole, their teammates, of course, as they come under the tunnel. I'm guessing we will see the white flag next time by, as we're just under 2 minutes as they come by. Patrick thought about defending to the inside, but then realized that Nico wasn't quite close enough, so he went back to his normal racing line. This is the point in the race, and I know you've had this situation. Are you sizing the guy up and thinking, okay, this is where I'm going to make my move on the last race?
Absolutely. I think so far Ambiato hasn't had a lot of success going into 1. We may see a move into turn 5, which is this hairpin right after this kink here.
Coming up right now.
Another good place to stick it down the inside would be at the end of the horseshoe as well.
Yep, exactly right. So let's see how that shakes out as they make it through turn 6. A little short shoot into the beginning of the 7, 8, 9 complex. Just a pretty heavy brush on the brakes, and then it's just a matter of fighting the G-forces to keep that car on the racetrack. And then back to the horseshoe, and let's see if Nico can stuff it down to the inside, but Patrick does a good job of guarding that line. And through the snake they come under the bridge. We should see the white flag this time by, and it is in the starter's hand. Here they come. Final run down toward turn 1. And once again, Patrick weaving just a little bit just to dissuade Nico from trying to get a run on him. And here we go. This is the last lap. So
there are very few passing opportunities left.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the best one for sure, no question. And now the question is, can Nico force Patrick into a mistake or perhaps pull a surprise move in a place where he's not expecting it? As they exit the chicane, a little bend there at turn 4, down into 5. I don't think he's close enough to try it there. Thought about it.
Ran a little bit wide.
Yeah, I think that may have been his last opportunity. I think he thought he might have a chance there, but had to go a little bit wide, and that's cost him enough momentum that it's going to be tough to make it up.
That may have sealed the race there.
Yeah,
John.
that could be the move that wasn't that sealed the deal. So Patrick Woods-Toth to get back to the top step of the podium for the first time since Indianapolis 2 rounds ago. And I'm sure that will feel good for him if he can make it through these last handful of turns. Down through the snake he comes, under the bridge. Patrick Woods-Toth, the reigning F4 US champion, now the points leader in Formula Regional Americas. And he goes over to salute his crew and takes the checkered flag. Patrick Woods-Toth taking the win. Nico Ambiato in a well-earned second place finish. Third will go to Jet Bowling as he comes across the line in the third position. Hayden Bowlesby, after a good battle with Landon Lim, will come home in fourth spot. Landon Montrano Lim across the line in fifth. James Lawley in kind of a lonely sixth spot in the number 77 car as we wait for him. As we follow Patrick around the line, Rico Slauman will hold off Nicole Laverda for 7th. And Nicole, the last car running, in 8th spot. Unfortunately, Titus Sherlock out on the first lap there at turn number 1. I'm going to head down to the podium to talk to these drivers. Drew, thank you so much.
Yeah, great to be here.
Appreciate being with us. We'll see you at COTA.
Absolutely.
And look forward to a good weekend there.
Thanks, John.
Thanks. Drew Such, ladies and gentlemen, as I'm going to head down to the podium to talk to our top 3 finishers. And we'll be back with you. We've got one more race to go on the card for our stream, as the F4 US finale coming up at 4:25 Eastern. That's about an hour and a half from now. There's your top 9 with Patrick Woods-Toth taking the first win of the weekend for him and his first win in about 5 races. We'll talk to him on the podium.
The Summit Point Speed Tour returns to Summit Point August 16th through the 18th, featuring the Sports Car Vintage Racing Association, Formula Race Promotions, and Optima's search for the ultimate street car. Saturday, you can take part in the Haggerty Cars and Caffeine Car Show with Parade Lab. You do not want to miss the Summit Point Speed Tour August 16th through the 18th. Advanced ticket discounts available. Children 12 and under are free. For tickets, simply go to speedtour.net. The Mission Foods Watkins Glen Speed Tour returns to Watkins Glen International August 23rd through the 25th, featuring the Trans Am Series presented by Pirelli, the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series, the Hilliard US Vintage Grand Prix with the Sports Car Vintage Racing Association, International GT, Prototype Sprint Series Association. You do not want to miss the Mission Foods Watkins Glen Speed Tour August 23rd through the 25th. For tickets, simply go to speedtour.net.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks, ladies. Checked it. So far, so good.
Check.
We don't have any tissue over here, right? No tissue. I got a towel.
Let's get our podium celebration underway, bringing up our 3rd place finisher, his 4th podium on the season for Jet Bowling, ladies and gentlemen. Well done. Glad to see you on the podium here.
Yeah, it was a good start. You know, drivers in front got a bit unlucky, but we had a really good start and able to manage it throughout the race.
Anybody to thank?
Yeah, thank the team, thank Alex, the mechanic, Steven, the engineer, as always, Ryan, the coach, my parents, you know, for supporting me, and then the Lord above, as always.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Third place finish for Jet Bowling, ladies and gentlemen. Five podiums to go with one win for our second place finisher, Nico Ambiato, ladies and gentlemen. Nico, a fantastic race all race long with Patrick. You gave him all he could handle. You had a couple good opportunities, but he was able to hold it off at the end.
Yeah, it's a difficult race. Patrick defends very good. I didn't have a good start, but it's very nice race. I just look for points, not for victory. I'm very happy.
And well done. Anybody to thank, sir?
Yeah, my sponsor, my dad, and the team.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Second place finisher, Nico Ambiato, ladies and gentlemen. And now let's bring up our winner. Let's see. Let me look at my statistics. 6 wins, 5 podiums. Believe it or not, it's been since Indianapolis, since you were on the top step of the podium. Ladies and gentlemen, Patrick Woods-Toth. Welcome back to the top step of the podium, young man.
Yeah, it's nice to be back. We worked pretty hard at the last few races, a little bit of tough luck. But, you know, we just had to put it together, and finally we had a good race today.
Nico gave you all you could handle, though.
Yeah, I mean, Nico was super fast all weekend. I mean, when he was out front, we couldn't even see him anymore, but it was a tough race. Had to pull out my karting defense moves, but it turned out well for us in the end.
Anybody to thank, sir?
Yeah, thank you to the team, Orlando, FSMQ, Ron Fellows, my family, my friends, everybody that supports me, and yeah, thank you.
We'll see you into your home track.
Yes, in CTMP.
Exactly. Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, our next stop for Patrick Woods-Toth, top step of the podium. We have Hankook hats on all of our drivers as we thank the Hankook crew for all the hard work they've done this weekend, as we've been not dealing with challenges so much as dealing with ways to maximize the tires. And thanks to Hankook and all their help to make that happen. Now Ligier, of course. Mo Murray's been with us all weekend long, the new CEO at Ligier, and he and his crew doing a fantastic job supporting all of these drivers and teams. Thanks to Ligier, clearly we could not do what we do without him. And then Mountoon, of course, taking over the responsibility for these Honda-based power plants. Mountoon not only keeping them in tune and keeping them running, but also maximizing their reliability over the course of the race season. And now the final award again, as is made by the stewards of the meeting, the people up in race control who run the racing all weekend long. They make the vote of the Omologato perfectly timed move of the race for the driver who's done, in their opinion, the best job over the course of the weekend. And I'm proud to award this to Nico Ambiato. Congratulations, sir. I'll get out of the way so we can have a final celebration for these drivers. Let's have one more round of applause for Jet Bowling, Nico Ambiato, and Patrick Woods-Toth, your top 3 in Formula Regional Americas. Thanks for being with us. We got one more race to go with F4US finale coming up at the end of the day, so don't go away.
I've been racing for 10 years, cars 2 years, and then go-karts the last 7 years.
Yeah, so I've been doing karts for 8 years, and this is my first year in cars.
In here we're friends, but obviously we're both going for the win. And if obviously there's other people out there, but if we need to help each other out, we will.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was always good fun, good to have nice people and competitive and quick people in the team. I think it's always good and important. But at the end of the day, we're here to race and we're here to win.
Obviously we have fun in the garage, you know, making TikToks and stuff, but when we're out on track, it's completely different.
I'd say it's a different type of fun. It's like I enjoy driving, so that's the fun part. Like I wouldn't be here if it wasn't what I wanted to wake up doing every morning. But I think we do have good fun in the garage.
Listen to music in the semi. We're making TikToks. It's all fun.
Yeah. And then when you go off, you have to clean your car. There's that as well.
That's just him though. He's the
Well,
only
you
one that
just
goes
lost the
off.
front wing, so you need to go clean.
I don't remember that. I don't remember bad things. I mean, I think it for sure makes it easier because we all get each other's data, stuff like that. And then also, Crosslink Kiwi's been doing it for so long, since I think 2016, and they know the car in and out, and so they know what setup to put on where and what to do, and it really helps a lot.
Yeah, I do off-road racing as well as this. This I started out in last year, just getting some seat time and figuring out how things worked, you know, with this big racing scene. It's pretty cool. It's a lot to take in your first year, especially like I only did a summer of karts the year before that, and then all before that was motocross, and that's an entirely different environment than this. So yeah, so whenever I took the step up and tried racing off-road trucks this year, I so far have enjoyed it. I've had a lot of success, a lot of wins so far. Mentally, it's just like